Welcome back. Well, our kids are growing up in a digital world, but for parents, knowing where to draw the line can feel impossible. How much screen time is too much? When should your child get a smartphone? And how do you keep them safe from the darker side of the internet?
Now, Australia's favourite parenting author, Maggie Dent, and top online safety expert, Kirra Pendergast, have been joining forces with their new book, Digital Freedom. It's packed with practical advice to help families navigate screens, social media, AI to come, of course, and online safety without becoming the enemy or getting on their case all the time. And Maggie and Kirra join us live in the studio. Morning
Hello,
to you
good
both.
Morning.
We've just spent the break just asking
Picking
questions.
their brains.
Is this okay?
Is this all right?
Maggie, it is a daily battle for screens from a very early age with kids nowadays. What's the biggest mistake that we make when setting boundaries around devices?
Well, I think we've just normalised that screens need to be a part of every childhood. That's the first mistake. Because, I've been banging on for many years that to raise healthy children, they need to be moving their bodies in the physical environment with other children and other humans. And that's how we shape that developing brain in the first 5 years. So whenever we put a screen in that place, we're actually displacing, not necessarily causing harm, but displacing normal healthy development. Except there are some things that you can do that actually can enhance it. And that's what Kirra and I wanted to do, that there's some things that will actually be okay and some things aren't. And it was so confusing, most parents didn't have a clue what it was. But also, big tip, I think, age groups are different again. And I think what we wanted to do was to work out how we could give parents the information to become the digital educators of their kids so they know that it's designed for massive engagement. Because parents all tell me all the time, I'm having problems with my phone. And that's exactly what tech wanted it to make us all hopelessly addicted.
And we are. So when should you therefore introduce, I'm sure you've been asked this question a trillion times, Maggie, but when should you therefore give a child a device?
All right, so I'm a big fan of the TV. Because that, once again, especially if you've got boys, they'll often be doing somersaults, throwing cushions, farting and just doing stuff, but not glued to the TV. So what we know is it's that once it's here, we've got a whole different thing going on, and that whatever's happening with the massive movement of things on there as well is actually, and if they're watching digital slop, Kirra can explain that better than me, very short reel stuff, the evidence is really strong. It dumbs our kids down in a really scary way. So once again, what are you doing with it? Whereas if we know that if we're out somewhere, and once again, always go to conversations, to drawing, to talking, all of those things first. But if a child is driving your Burko and you have your device there, you can... blue is not going to harm a kid.
Yeah,
and
look, parents are busy. We get that. And Kirra, every parent also has their own rules around this and their own parameters, and it's different for every kid. But also, I even noticed with my own kids, the difference between when they watch, say, ABC iView versus Netflix is palpable. The tantrums, the elevated emotions, and you see that with different age groups. How do you tackle that?
Well, again, it's just because they're flicking through things really, really fast. So, I've had that situation in my own family, and making sure they're watching something that is extended. So even on Netflix, if you put them in front of something that goes for 45 minutes and they stay focused and there's no second screening, because a lot of people have become addicted to scrolling while they're watching Netflix. So making sure you put those kinds of boundaries in place as well. And to mitigate against those other dangers as well on those devices. You're big on that too, Kirra. Yeah, exactly. So the mitigation of, the dangers on devices can be many. It depends on the device, the age of the young person involved, even us. I find myself scrolling while I'm trying to watch something. We've all got to check in, and that's where we need to put the guilt stick down as parents and understand what's actually going on, what we can control, what we can't, and what it looks like.
I also want to throw in there that one space, every now and then we can check in what our kids are doing. You remember most of them, from year 3 onwards have got a device at school and that they're doing things on it. So homework is obviously one of those things, but if that's all they're doing, we've got to double check that. But every now and then, if they're watching something, can we go in and say, is this going to make you smarter, kinder or braver? Okay. Right, just pausing. Right, and we do need to...
So they're your guardrails.
That's just one of those things. I question it. What are you doing? And sometimes, look, honest to goodness, one of my granddaughters is teaching herself 3 languages with Duolingo just for the fun of it. That's not going to do any harm. But it's, of course, there are other things that have other things behind them that not only you explain gathering data to scare the heck out of everyone, Kirra.
Because, I mean, our kids are young, right?
Yeah.
But you move beyond this age, obviously, where you do lose a little bit more control about what is going on in line, and people are using it to connect with other other kids, but then also there are some more dangerous elements. So how do parents balance that and also develop enough trust with their kids?
Yeah.
Both ways. I trust you to do this, but you need to tell me when something bad's happening too.
And that's the most important thing, setting up that trust-based relationship as young as possible so you know that they'll come to you if something goes sideways or even if something makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable. But understanding with things like Duolingo and being able to have a conversation that there's often ways that they can click out and into something else very quickly. So understanding algorithmic literacy and how it all works under the bonnet is what we've explained in really plain terms in the book so that you can really easily understand what's going on and what you can control.
Well, it does feel terrifying, but you've broken it all down there.
And also, we want to make sure there's no blame. We get really cross when parents are blamed, kids are blamed, and even teachers are blamed. And I'm sorry, the only people to blame is tech because they've designed it exactly like this to make a lot of profits.
And to get us all hooked as well.
And also, the harm is absolutely frightening, and we need to, and especially last year when the numbers went through the roof. So this is about how do we use tech for good and understand it ourselves.
And parents just want to know that they're doing a good job. I'm going to buy totem tennis. And Thank you so
guys.
much.
Thank you. No, and Maggie Dent and Kirra Pendergast's new book is called Digital Freedom, a guide to less screen time for safer, happier and healthy families, and it is out now. Thank you.
Long way.